Let's talk about the roll bar system in the CLK. We have taken out the rear seat bench and the bottom seat, and we have here the roll bar valve. Behind it is the roll bar lift cylinder. We also have the one lock pawl on the left side and one lock pawl on top on the right side. And for completeness, we have two sensors here, a lower position sensor and an upper position sensor. They both are available as spare parts from R129 SL-Class cars, so you do not have to buy a whole new roll bar assembly if your sensors over here don't work. The most common problem with the CLK roll bar system is that the roll bars ratchet up when you go over a pothole or similar, and that is a consequence of a bad roll bar valve that was damaged when your hydraulic system was low on fluid. Of course, Top Hydraulics rebuilds these roll bar valves, also offers core exchange, and we rebuilt the lock pawls. The lock pawls are typically the last hydraulic component to fail in a CLK, and I would not worry too much about it. The roll bar cylinder itself has better seals in it than the other cylinders, possibly because it's safety equipment. Maybe they knew after all things right, but they do fail, and Top Hydraulics does rebuild the roll bar cylinders as well. To take the roll bar valve out, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. You unscrew one line on the side, you pull the black clips on these retaining plates, rotate them, and now you can pull hydraulic lines out. Let me put it back into place here. And then lastly, you unbolt the valve from its mounting frame, and of course you pull out the hydraulic line clips. Best way to do it is again, friction, put a small flat screwdriver in here and turn it, and these connectors will come up. There you have the roll bar valve. You could, if a really badly damaged roll bar valve will even leak. If you cannot find a leak in any of the cylinders, well, then the leak likely is from the roll bar valve itself. So here I'm holding a roll bar cylinder that is normally mounted behind the roll bar assembly, behind the valve here. And it's mounted on two pins on the bottom that hold it to the chassis. The top portion attaches to the spring-loaded rollover bar system. There's a lot of tension on this roll bar system from these humongous springs on the side. If there is an emergency situation, the soft-top controller will apply 12 volts to the solenoid, which detaches the hydraulic portion from the ball mount up here, and the springs will simply force the rest of the assembly up. The way to retract the roll bars is to then hydraulically push this cylinder up. It's currently in the retracted position. If you extend the shaft, then this whole assembly will ultimately catch up to the release solenoid, hook up to it. Then you push the down button, and that's supposed to pull the roll bar down again. And again, if you have a bad roll bar valve, then this whole thing may be futile, just because as soon as there is a bump again somewhere, everything might come up again. One way to make this roll bar system deploy in order to get access to the mounting bolts behind the roll bar system, or in order to more easily remove this cylinder, is to apply 12 volts to the solenoid. The easiest place to apply those 12 volts is right over here. Disconnect this connector, put 12 volts on it, and you will have the roll bar assembly coming up. You could also just shake the soft-top controller in the trunk, make sure it's still connected to ground. If you shake it while the car is in drive and the ignition is on, then you'll get the same result. But I think it's easier to just, once again, put 12 volts onto this connector that goes to the emergency release solenoid. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about the roll bar systems, contact Top Hydraulics at tophydraulicsinc.com.